So, have you been curious about maybe how to open a spa, or if you have one, how to pivot that location to better service the needs of your customers and what just happens in the world? That is going to be our topic today. I'm Sherrie Tennessee of the Spa SOS, and so excited to have you. And without further ado, I'm going to invite Marie into the conversation. Hi, Marie. How are you?
Hi, Sherrie. I'm good. Thank you. Great to
Happy
see
to
you.
have you today. You're continuing in honor of Emancipation and Independence Day in Jamaica. I'm featuring a variety of different Jamaican business owners and entrepreneurs. So, welcome. So good to have you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So I know that the Face Place, oh, can't talk today. The Face Place has been around for a while. It's a renowned school as well as amazing spa. If someone is interested in coming into this beauty wellness spa industry, what advice would you give them?
Well, the advice I would give, as I give to many of our students, is stay true to, what the core of your business menu and services are going to be about. Because in this day and age of beauty therapy and aesthetics, there's so many services that can be offered. And as we know, yes, you want to be relevant, but at the same time, you want to stay true to the core of your business principles and your business plan. Because I always say to my students, it's like if you don't have a plan, it's like saying, hey, let's have potluck. And everybody just brings something to the table and, everything is there. So you don't want to do that. You want to be very focused on the demographic you're going to serve, the services you're going to offer, so that you can see success and you can grow then towards adding on services and maybe even dropping some as your business, develops and grows.
Absolutely. I think that's fantastic advice. So your location has been around for quite a while. What do you feel like were the keys to success and longevity for your location?
Well, I think the keys to success in any business and in any industry is being adaptable and also being very flexible because, we were talking a little bit earlier with, some other colleagues, and we were saying that, hey, there have been so many things that have happened in our business in terms of the recession, the pandemic now that we're facing,
9/11.
9/11. So, hey, we're now, and we have, and businesses have survived. A lot of industries have survived, these crises and how they managed to do so. And our business is actually 45 years old. So we've had our fair share. I mean, in
Sure.
terms of even in our environment, in our economy, you just have to be adaptable, you have to be flexible, and you have to be very responsive. And you have to look at crisis. And anytime you're faced with crisis, look for the opportunities that lie within a crisis. Don't just think, oh, this is the end, this is it. You look for opportunities, and then you also ensure that you can reestablish or continue to establish your share of the market during these times.
Absolutely. I think that is fantastic advice. So, how have you been able to pivot? I mean, if your location has been around for 45 years, how have you been able to pivot and adapt your business to these changes that have occurred in the industry?
Well, again, as with any industry, you have to remain relevant. Relevancy is key. I mean, when I left school, beauty, well, I can say beauty school because it was a beauty school when I left, I mean, as I said, we've evolved. It was a skill. I was, came from a professional background in terms of family, except my mother was the only one who decided, she was a creative, artistic one, and she was trained in London as an esthetician. So when I was my father was an attorney, and it was a choice. Like, okay, are you going to go the traditional lawyer, doctor, Indian chief route, or are you going to go the creative route like your mom? So I chose the creative route, and very thankfully so. But how we have been able to remain, relevant, being in business for over 45 years is really just adopting, and also keeping current and reinventing ourselves. The business that was in 1973, the core principles which were founded on standards are still there, but we have evolved and we have been pushed along through technology and all that. So keeping current, keeping relevant, adopting what you need to adopt, dropping what you need to drop is what keeps you relevant in a business life cycle. It keeps you afloat in a business life cycle.
Absolutely. And I know you definitely have gotten creative. You had mentioned developing facial kits.
Right. I
Um,
mean, during this crisis, I mean, we had to develop facial kits. I had to come up with kits because we had clients. Fortunately, we were still allowed, and we have maintained being open since the pandemic, came about. And that what we say that's the end of mid-February till now. We have, knock on wood, been COVID free in our environment because of the precautions that we've taken and all of the steps that we've put in place in terms of protocols and all of that we have had to just, actually create and make for ourselves, because being open during this time, protocols were being generated and given out through WHO and CDC, but we had to still be ahead of that and anticipate, what we would need to do and how we needed to safeguard ourselves and our clients. But yes, in the business, we had to create facial kits because people were, some of the clients weren't necessarily coming out and wanted to have the treatments done. So we created kits that they could take at home and use. So they would send for them, we would deliver them, so again, look for opportunities in crisis to stay afloat and to keep yourself in business. And that's a key, to being successful, is always looking at opportunities in the face of crisis. Another thing we've done, we've moved a lot of our products online, so people can now purchase, that platform is being developed. So you have to look at these opportunities in times of crisis and really go at them.
Absolutely. So what advice would you give to someone who's maybe interested in opening a location? When you look at a lot of the Google searches, that's one of the top searches, is how to open a day spa, how to open a nail salon. Having been in it for quite a while, what advice would you give to someone who has that dream or aspiration?
Well, first bit of advice I'd give is find a location that's going to serve the demographic that is, the demographic you want to serve. In other words, you have your business plan, you know what you're bringing to the table. You have to ensure that there are people out there, the environment is there to satisfy, your business plan and to serve you well. So it's mutually beneficial, if you know what you're offering and the clients are there. So you have to ensure that the demographic is where you want it to be and where you want or choose to move and open your business. It makes no sense to open a business, set up a wonderful spa, have all the products, all the services, and no one's coming through the door because the market is just not there. So the first thing I would say is do your market research and ensure that, your market research aligns and is in tandem with your business plan.
Absolutely. I think that's fantastic advice. So as we wrap up today, what parting advice would you give someone who is maybe either looking at becoming a service provider in the industry, or who wants to open a location?
I would say to anyone who's gonna, get involved in this business is really study well, learn well, because there's so many schools, there's so many services, there's so many trends. Ensure that you do your research, you learn well, you study well, and stick to standards, and ensure that your practice is going to be what you would want, because you want to ensure that what you would want for yourself is what you're extending and giving and exceeding expectations for the people who you are going to practice on, who are going to be your clientele. So I would say study well, learn well, continuously learn, because you never stop learning. I mean, when you finish with school, that's one thing, but you always have to, add those additional hours in whatever, opportunities that present for you. Continue to learn, because there's so much learn. You never stop learning, and that's how you become, very knowledgeable and very broad and are able to offer advice to clients, because clients, sometimes come in with a whole lot of questions because everything is out there on the net, and you have to be aware of all the trends and so on and be able to speak and dialogue with them about it. So stay relevant and continue to learn and stick to standards.
That's going to be so key, especially now, of knowing what those standards are and being able to operate. Marie, I want to thank you so much for joining us today. It was such a pleasure. I wish you continued success. I'm so happy to hear that you've been able to remain open in the midst of everything, and you've been able to adapt and adjust to all of the things that have happened over the last 45 years. If people want more information about you, they can find you and your location at thefaceplaceja.com. I know you're on Instagram. I want to take a moment and thank Well World TV for giving us the platform today. And then if someone is, or our audience is interested in finding more about me, you can reach me on Instagram at the SpaSOS. Marie, it is such a pleasure. I look forward to seeing you at a show in 2021.
I know. Looking forward as well, Sherrie. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Enjoy the rest of your month, and I will talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.